what's going on, man?
Nothing much, you know, doing a little television show, that's about it.
Hey, Chicago Med, just a little something, something. You actually live in Chicago. We were talking about this.
I do live in Chicago.
Filming for Chicago
Yes.
Med, and it's freezing out there, isn't it?
It is. They have this temperature gauge, and it says at times 40 degrees, but you really have to look at the feels like, because the feels like will be at 12. So I feel like it's this odd, weird situation where it's never really as warm as it seems.
They're lying to you.
They basically are.
Yeah.
Absolutely lying to me. Absolutely.
How is it playing an impulsive doctor? Are you impulsive in your personal real life?
No.
Oh my gosh, yes you are. You hesitated.
No, I'm not. No, impulsive. I would actually.
Okay.
Did I like?
No.
did
You're
I-
really nice.
I hope so. I feel like Dr. Choi, you know him.
Yeah.
I feel like he has this particular code and these particular set of rules and this kind of moral compass that he kind of definitely tries to ride. But especially this year, I feel like he's opening up. I need a side consult. 28-year-old female. Father found her tied to a bed at his ex-wife's house. Some lacerations, pressure sore. She's extremely dehydrated.
When you're learning to do this role, do you actually retain different skills as a doctor? Like, could you do simple things? Like if you were on a plane and someone's like, hey, do we have a doctor?
Call 911. Basically, yeah.
Can you do little stuff?
I could check a pulse. I feel like this. I feel like we've trained in certain situations, but they're all kind of pretend situations.
Right.
And if a real life incident were actually to happen, I may be able to like diagnose what they call like the ABCs. Right. But other than that, I feel like I should leave that to the professionals. I don't want to be like, back off.
Yeah.
Play a doctor on television. I know what I'm doing.
Is it hard to get into that, I guess, mind frame of trying to be a doctor, or is it?
You know, I feel like we have probably, you know, some of the best consultants on our show, and that we're so trusting with them to help us do the right thing. As far as the mentality of the doctor, we have Dr. Andy Dennis, who runs basically the Chicago County Hospital over there, and he lets us come in and shadow. Oh. And when we shadow, we kind of get this real life experience. And he's not shy about it. You know, if a patient comes in with a gunshot wound or something like that, he lets us kind of get right in, kind of get into the action. When you go shadow him, there's a sense of reality that you just take home with you. And I need that as far as playing the role is concerned. I feel like I need that sense of reality or that aspect, because once you're on set and you have all the cameras and lights and everything, it's just basically pretend.
How do you feel about the roles in Hollywood for Asians? Is it still very stereotypical?
I feel like I'm very fortunate to play this role in this show. The roles for Asian Americans are very small and minute, and they're definitely much more stereotyped. But I've been so blessed to play a full-fledged character with ranges from up and down, and not necessarily because I'm Asian, but just because I'm a human being. I would like to see much more of that kind of expand into other roles, and I feel like there's a great slow kind of progression into that direction. Obviously for African Americans and Hispanics, and then hopefully down trickle to, you know, other ethnic minorities.
Is it hard in Hollywood? I'm always so curious.
Yeah, it's hard in Hollywood.
What makes it so hard?
There's a lot, or a giant group of people wanting to be an artist. I also feel like there's certain things that you don't necessarily have control over. The roles that come along aren't necessarily what you want to do, but you need to do in order to get to a place where you can kind of pick and choose your battles. What makes it difficult is the rejection, because you kind of put yourself out there, you put your soul out there, and you know, 9 times out of 10 the answer is no. And I think a person said that in a lifetime someone can have several or multiple jobs, take a bunch of interviews, and get a bunch of no's. But to an actor, you could probably live that lifetime in a week. I mean, it's just, you feel like you've built up this kind of armor of sorts every time you get rejected, or every time the answer is no, or every time you miss something very close. It just kind of builds, and I don't know if it gets easier, but it gets much more acceptable.
Well, in between your auditions, what do you like to do for yourself?
I have a 2.5-year-old.
Oh my gosh, you're busy.
I am.
You're done.
And an amazing wife, so all of my time wants to be with them.
Before you get off the stoop, we want to play a game with you. It's one of
Okay.
my favorite games because it's so much fun. All right, so Brian, in this cup, we have a bunch of questions that were left behind by previous guests that stopped by on the stoop. So all you have to do is pick out whichever card that you want, read off the question, and tell us who left it behind for you.
Okay.
Okay.
If you see a cop in your rearview mirror, what do? P.S. The car smells like weed.
Oh.
I'd be like, first, why does my car smell like weed? I would never have weed in my car. I mean, let's be serious. What do? I basically would say, that's not me. I'd be like, is that weed?
Is that?
That's weird. It smells like that in my car right now.
Good.
All right? And like catch it before he does. Right?
Oh,
he rolls
you're
down the
good.
window. I'd be like, wait a second, officer.
Yeah.
Smells like weed in here. Where's that from? Did you have weed on you?
Yes.
I think that's what I would
around.
do. Turn it around right on them. Catch it before they do.
Exactly.
Genius. You guys should all try it.